Hey, let's welcome in pitching coach Kennie Steenstra. He was at the alternate site at Bowie this year with Justin Ramsey, and Oriole fans saw numerous players come from Bowie to Baltimore and numerous players do well coming from Bowie to Baltimore. Kenny, that must be so satisfying as a coach when you're working with Keegan Akin or Dean Kremer or Brandon Klein or whoever it may be, to see them go into the major leagues and do well.
Oh, absolutely. It really justifies what we're doing a little bit especially at that alternate camp. It justified what we were doing and gave us a little confidence with the other guys as well. I think for them to see guys go up and perform well, that they could do it too once they went up there. And, it gives them a little boost of confidence seeing those guys perform so well.
From the pitching side, and it was all a curiosity to the world outside of you guys because no one could go there and see it. And we didn't get, outside talking to a few guys, get reports, what's going on over there. But what made it work from the pitching side for you?
Well, I think we did a nice job from the very beginning of having a structured organization to it that guys knew exactly what they were there to work on and to try to get better. Chris and Justin and myself, we all were on the same page and telling these guys what they needed to do to get better. And when they had a chance at the big leagues, to get that chance to be able to perform. And to their credit, I felt like every guy that we had in Bowie bought in and went along with the plans that we had laid out for them. And, it was especially good to see we had some older guys there that could have been a problem for us, with trying to butt heads with us. But everybody kind of towed the line and was pulling on the same rope, and we had some great progress there.
And, when I interviewed Gary Kendall somewhere mid-year, he pointed that out. Veteran guys who maybe have been in the big leagues are reaching out to young guys who have hardly been at A-ball, and it's creating a great chemistry. And I guess you saw that every day. And is it just that comes about? I mean, there's not a handbook to make that come about, I don't think.
Well, you think about some of the guys we had there. You've got a D.L. Hall and a Grayson Rodriguez facing a Taylor Davis and, some guys that have got 1,000, 2,000 minor league at-bats facing guys that have, 100 innings in the minor leagues. So I thought we had a nice range of different personalities, different experience levels, and we really had no issues with one group trying to trump the other group. Everybody worked together very well. Older guys did a great job of giving advice to the younger guys, and it just really kept the competition going well.
Let's talk about a couple guys. Keegan Akin, well, you've coached him. What were you specifically working with him this year that you think helped him when he got to the Orioles?
Well, when I originally had Keegan in Bowie a couple of years ago, he was throwing 75, 80% fastballs and dominating the Eastern League. When he went to Norfolk the next year, the priority was put into place that he needed to make sure he could throw any of his pitches at any count, make sure when he was behind in the count he could throw his slider or his changeup to also get some outs. And he struggled with it a little bit in Norfolk at times, but I think you started to see the benefit of that this year, continuing that work in the alternate camp. And then when he went to the big leagues, he wasn't afraid to throw those pitches in those counts. And those are the kind of things that he's going to continue to have to do to be successful. That fastball really played in Double-A, and it's still a tremendous fastball, but he's got to be able to throw those other pitches to keep him off balance.
Having the whole mix was big for him, no doubt. Is it the spin rate on the fastball, late life? There's something he has, and he's not 89, 90, we know, but he's not 98 either. So he's in the middle of there somewhere, but it's really effective.
Well, I think it's a combination of, the type of pitches the type of fastball that he has, and he's got a little deception to his delivery. He's a little bit of a short armor, and he works underneath the ball a little bit that gives it a little bit of late hop and late life as well. And, that's something that we saw in Double-A early on that, guys just didn't catch up to it very well. They started fouling him off a little bit the second and third time through the lineup, but still able to get a lot of quality outs with that pitch.
Dean Kremer's another guy you had. That 2019 Bay Sox staff was really, really good. Best in the Eastern League, went to the championship series. And so Dean Kremer you saw in 19, what you worked with at Bowie at 20, and then when you saw him in the major leagues. Talk a little bit about the evolution there.
Well, when Dean came to us from the Dodgers, he was predominantly fastball, curveball. And, I believe he led all of minor leagues in strikeouts that year over multiple levels. So obviously he had a lot of success with those two pitches, but he was another guy that we knew had to have something else, especially against the left-handers, to be able to get some outs. And he bought in that the time that he was home over the pandemic period where nobody was doing anything, he put in a lot of time and effort on both his cutter and his changeup. And when he came to Bowie and started back up with us again, both of those pitches had improved, especially the cutter. And you saw that in the big leagues, he was able to use that pitch both to righties and lefties, honestly, to get some outs and just to get guys off his fastball a little bit more.
That almost became his best non-fastball pitch, if we can call it that. A cutter's a variation, I guess, of a slider, fastball, mix it all together. But that pitch really was. And you think he did a lot of that on his own when he just went and worked on it, made it better?
Well, we had talked to him about it already the year before and then again in spring training this past year. But when he went home, he really honed in on it, and he was able to, manipulate that ball a little bit more and start working with that pitch consistently. And I think sometimes getting away on your own and being able to kind of get that feel without any pressure of getting outs, sometimes that helps develop that pitch even more.
Both of those guys showed such poise in the major leagues. Can coaching or analytics or data help that, or does that come from the individual within? How does someone become as poised as we saw Akin and Kremer?
Well, I think a lot of that comes naturally to those guys. There's things you can talk about and discuss with pitchers to help them with that. But, if a guy doesn't have some natural tendency to that, that's going to be very difficult. I felt like both of those guys are mature for their age. They've already been through a lot, even though they'd only pitched in AA, AAA before this. They both had tremendous natural poise to them. So I think it's just one of those things where, yes, you can help along with some guys doing that, but you have to have some natural ability to that.
That 2019 staff, Lowther, Wells, Bauman, they pitch well too. And people kind of group them with Akin and Kremer and all these pitching prospects. Now the two have broken through and had initial success. Are those other names I mentioned right on their level? Can they go in and do the very same thing? Or is it's baseball and we won't know until we know?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think they obviously have the ability to do it. It's, taking that next step and kind of turning the corner like Keegan and Dean did, being able to refine their stuff and refine their abilities to be able to make sure they're consistent enough to do it. Mike had a tremendous season and was looking so awesome, so very good this past summer until he got injured, and hopefully he comes back strong. But all three of those guys that you mentioned are very capable of being big league pitchers in the future.
Michael Bauman's got a lot of talent, as we know, incredible numbers, second half at Bowie 2019. As you mentioned, he got injured. The Orioles have said it should be, let's knock on wood for Michael here. Everything goes great, and he should be a full go in spring. Well, until that happened, what was the focus with him this summer?
Well, similar to those other two guys we mentioned, he's been mostly fastball slider, and we're trying to implement a changeup and a curveball to his repertoire. And the curveball was really starting to take off. He was starting to throw some really good ones and getting those into his pitch mix in a very effective manner. So hopefully, he comes back healthy. Everything's looking great so far, and he's well on his way to getting back. But he's such a dominating physique guy. I mean, you start dreaming when you see this guy on the mound. So hopefully he can get back 100%, and the sky's the limit for him.
It does seem like he's a guy fans can dream on. We know the highly ranked prospects are DL Hall and Grayson, however you stack them. But Bauman, he's pretty highly rated too, but he's not rated to their level by the experts. But you get the feeling of if there's one guy could hit it big, this might be the guy.
Do you remember where John Means was on those lists?
Nowhere to be found.
So, those guys miss sometimes too, just like the draft guys miss. So, and I'm not saying Mike's going to be John Means or better than John Means. I don't know right now, but, he definitely has all the ability and all the weapons to be able to accomplish a lot at the big league level. So hopefully he can, like I said, bounce back, come back 100% in spring training and show everybody what he can do.
So a new guy the Orioles acquired via trade, Kevin Smith, the left-hander from the Mets, he came to you guys in Bowie, new to the organization, new to all of you. What was it like getting to know him? What did he show you?
Very quality young man. Got a very good sinker and four seamer both. Has the ability to throw both of those for strikes. Slider was his best put away pitch to righties and to lefties. He likes throwing that back foot slider to the righties. Very competitive, very intuitive, wanting to learn everything about our system and what we're doing and trying to get better. And I felt like he made some strides in the short amount of time he was there.
And what do you think will take him from where he is now to maybe doing what Akin and Kremer were doing this year?
I think it's similar. He's got to develop a little bit better of a changeup. He's got a pretty decent one right now, but just getting a consistent spin and consistent arm speed with that pitch, being able to utilize that one a little bit more into his mix will help him a ton. But he's another guy that with the Mets the year before put up some pretty impressive numbers for his age and his experience levels. So I think he's a guy that can definitely do some big things in the next couple of years.
Kenny, what did it mean to you personally to see guys go from Bowie to Baltimore? You've sent guys to the big leagues before. As a minor league pitching coach, the math doesn't add up. You're going to coach a lot more guys that will never make it, and many that will never make it big, and some that will get a cup of coffee and everything in between. But when you see it happen in Baltimore, what did it mean to you?
Well, it's always it always fills you with some pride to see those guys up and accomplish what they do. Like you said, so many more don't make it that make it, and those are the ones that keep you up at night a little bit sometimes. But the guys that make it, over the years there's been so many because we've had, especially in Baltimore, there's been such a shuttle the last few years. We've had so many guys go up. Our goal is to get these guys up there on a permanent basis where they go up for 10 or 12 years. We don't want guys that are coming up for 10 innings and going back. So, I thought the guys that we sent this year all did an admirable job of trying to get that job done. And hopefully we can continue to send some more guys up there to help.
Well, Kenny, thanks for visiting with me here on our interview. 16th year you just completed in the organization. We could go back to guys like Zach Britton, who swore by your tutelage. You mentioned John Means. It's a long list that you worked with over the years, and great. You obviously were doing great work this year. We didn't get to see it, but we got to see the finished product. So that was better yet. So thanks for taking time.
All right, you're very welcome, Steve. Thank